I'm a go-getter.
It's the Goalgetta podcast with Jay Black. His goal is to inspire you to become the best version of yourself. Success is the only option.
Goalgetta is all about mindset. My mindset is, since I'm here, why not be the greatest ever? And it's a win-win situation. Let's say I don't become the greatest ever. I'll become one of the greats. But it forces me to grind the greatness every day. And if you want to win that life, you got to grind the greatness every day. You deserve to live your best life. The world can sleep on you, but just make sure you don't sleep on you. So I love and believe in you, and I want to take you to that next level. Put your seatbelt on. Ride with me.
I feel the 3 words coming. I'm excited. Yeah. So welcome to the Goalgetta podcast with Jay Black. Ready or not, it's about to go up. That's right. It's about to go up. So, Goalgetta. What's a goal-getter? I'm glad you asked. My logo sums up my message. 1 finger to the brain, 1 to the sky. With the right mindset, you go to the top. I put the red check next to the brain because everything starts with the mind, and it takes blood, sweat, and tears to achieve goals. You're a goal-getter. I'm a goal-getter. Success is the only option. Everything about my guest today says success is the only option. But before we get into my guest, got to talk about everything that's going on. So first off, I got the Success is the Only Option School Tour going on. Motivational speaker on a mission to change the world. Definitely tap in, jblackinspires.com. Learn about everything that's going on with that. But I'm looking forward to coming to your city to empowering your students, your school, staff, and student training. Also, just released, we got the Success is the Only Option Teen Career Day. It's going to be crazy. It's February 19, 2022. It's an annual event. We're bringing it back. Last year we didn't have it because of COVID, but we're back. The goal this year, 120 students. Registration is open. 120 teams. The first event we had 70. So definitely register your team for this event. We got actually 9 different presenters. Rotate them, catered meal. Got to bring in a speaker from out of town. It's going to be crazy. But the biggest thing with this is to really get them thinking about their future early. So I believe that goals give direction. That's why I named my book Goals Give Direction. If you get a person excited about a goal, no matter how toxic their situation is around them, the goal will bring discipline to their life and remove certain things and people from their life when they really lock in and want to achieve the goal. So I actually got a college presenter. I got the military, and I got a few different career paths that look like our community. And they're going to actually be able to tell their story and then talk about what it takes to achieve the goal. So it's going to be crazy. So definitely get involved with that. We got the shout out Goalgetta Academy, our mentoring program. With Goalgetta Academy, we focus on goal setting, financial literacy, leadership development, entrepreneurship, mental health, community service. But our young kings and young queens are doing a great job. So big shout out to Goalgetta Academy. And I gotta make this announcement. Black Friday is around the corner, so we got 3 new products dropping with Goalgetta Apparel. So definitely stay tuned. Go grab your hoodie season. You see I got the Success is the Only Option hoodie on right now, so make sure you go grab that. And I'm so locked in with Goalgetta, I even got a Goalgetta pillow. Grab you a Goalgetta pillow, because when you're sleeping, I want you thinking about your goals. Yes, it's comfy too. Now, let's get to my guest, Goalgetta Podcast with Jay Black. I'm very, very excited for this guy to be here. So I was just talking about Goalgetta Apparel. So this was a match made, man. It was definitely, the timing just was perfect. So first off, shout out to my guy, both of our guys, Mike Mills, because he made the introduction. And I've been able to actually now have my own custom Goalgetta shoe. That's right, Goalgetta shoe. I'm going to put it on there for y'all to see it. But man, it's the people have been loving it. And I'm just looking forward just to being able to actually have the whole world, not just throwing up the Goalgetta, but walking around in Goalgettas. And this is the guy that's going to make it happen, help me make it happen. So, Fletcher Burch, he's the owner and operator of FGB, the brand, photographer, and custom designer. So my guy, Fletcher, say what's up to the people.
What's going on, world? How y'all feeling?
So we're going to jump right into it. When I first went to your page, first of all, you're actually, you're a minister.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to actually really dive into who you are and what led you to the ministry.
I've been in church all my life. I was raised in church. Getting into the ministry was something that was just completely out of the blue. I never believed that God had a true purpose for me. Then one day I was in church, February of 2006, second Sunday of February 2006. And the pastor had called an altar call, and I went to the altar call. And as I was going to the altar call, everybody was looking at me because they know that I never got involved with the altar call or anything of that nature. So I got there, and that's when I heard God's voice for the first time for myself. And that's when He told me that the plans that He had for me was to speak to His people, to breathe life into His people. So that's where my ministry began.
Okay, great. So before then, would you say, I think I like something that you said. You said you didn't really know for your purpose as far as for you. Yeah. So purpose, that's strong. If you look at the bottom of my podcast flyer, it says, goals bring purpose and purpose change lives. So I believe once you can lock on your purpose, it'll change everything, So a lot of people, I want to stay in the church aspect because I think it's a unfair stereotype with church, but I want you to touch on, people think you got to have it so all together to come to church. Now I understand that the church is made of sinners. It's for the sinners. So you don't got to have it. I got to do all this. I want to go to church once I get this together. Right. No, He wants you to come as you are.
Right.
So let's try to break the ice with that. People just have thinking that. Why do you think that's so? Definitely in the urban community. Why do they think that?
Because we live in a negative world. Negativity is what fuels this world right now. So, everybody with social media and things of that nature, people have so many different opinions, and it's like an unwritten law that whatever's on the internet, it must be true. Well, the truth of the matter is, the only thing that's true is what you know for yourself. The Bible says to study to show thyself approved. All I can do is tell people to pick up the book and start reading. If it helps you, if it affects your life, then you know that that's the right path for you. I don't knock what nobody else do. All I know is I know God is real. I've heard His voice myself. We have constant conversations, and this is what works for me. It changed me. Prior to that encounter with God, I remember a story in the Bible where it talked about a man named Paul, whose name used to be Saul, and he was walking down this road, and Paul used to kill Christians. He used to do all kinds of dirty stuff to people on earth. But then he had an encounter with God, and that encounter changed his life. Well, I'm your modern day Paul, because I was walking that road. From the time my dad died up until I had my encounter with God, it was all disastrous. Nothing I do or could have done was done right. Everything was just full of negativity. So, but once I got my encounter with God, things just started to look up. Now, I didn't look up right away.
Right.
People expect, you're not supposed to struggle when you got God. No, that's not what the Bible says.
Right.
That's not what it says. Everything is not peaches and cream, but your faith is what you build on, and that's what I'm building on. Everything that I have going on in my life right now is built off my faith.
So, and leading to this, so where did photography come into play for you?
Oh, that's crazy. It's a judge in the city of Cleveland in the child support court that I owe thanks to for throwing me into photography, because I went to child support court one day, and she said I had to have a job. So she was like, next time you come in front of me, you either got to have a job or you're going to jail. And I'm just like, all right, whatever. So I went to Walmart. Walmart hired any and everybody.
Right.
Before I could even fill out an application to Walmart, they had a photography studio there, and the manager of the photography studio was like, hey, you look like you'll be a great photographer. I want to give you a job. I'm like, all right.
Right.
So she taught me how to use the camera, and next thing you know, I've always had this sick gift that whatever I put my hands on, I had to build an empire out of it.
Empire, I like that.
So I'm in here, and while she's teaching me, now this is old school photography, this is film stuff. So while she's teaching me that, I'm learning it. But in the back of my head, like, I can do this at home. I got me a studio at home. Like, why can't I do this? So me and my wife, we invested in a camera, and I was taking pictures, jacking people pictures up.
So now we talk about the process, because he official now, but it's pressing the rewind button. I love it, so go ahead.
I had all kinds of harsh shadows, and I thought I was doing it, boy, because people was giving me a couple dollars, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm able to pay bills and stuff. But after a while, I was like, wow, I fell in love with it. And I'm just like, I'm really good with this. I got an eye. And that's when I realized, like, Fletcher, you creative. So many people kept pouring that positive word into me, like, man, you creative. And I just took off on that.
Mm-hmm. I feel them 3 words coming. I'm excited. Yeah. So we're still booking for the Success is the Only Option School Tour. Visit the link below. My logo sums up my message. 1 finger to the brain, 1 to the sky. With the right mindset, you go to the top. I put the red check next to the brain because everything starts with the mind, and it takes blood, sweat, and tears to achieve goals. You're a goal-getter. I'm a goal-getter. Like my hoodie says, success is the only option. And one thing I want to hear real quick, make sure y'all cop this jewel. Press the rewind button. So he said people was feeding them like creative. So God will use people, to really touch you, and make you recognize, his purpose for you. So that wasn't an accident that he went to Walmart and that person grabbed him, said, you'd be a great photographer. All the people picked him, So timing, that's stuff. But then he talked about the process, as far as where he was. He thought he was really doing something. He realized, looking back now, he wasn't really that good. But he fell in love. When you fall in love with the craft, you're going to honor it. You're going to get better and better and better because you honor the craft and you love what you do. And that's powerful right there. Because a very small percentage of the world get to make a living doing what they love to do. Yeah. And you're actually one of those small percentages. So that's powerful. Now, on that note, because I didn't know this, so you told me, so you actually, because Mike Mills, that's my guy, he did a few events as far as Goalgetta Academy and everything like that. But you said you actually turned him up to the game of photography.
Yeah, that's my homie.
So how did you and him meet?
He, we was friends on Facebook. Photographers, we like to follow each other and stuff. And then one day he hit me up and said, hey man, I like your work. And I was like, man, thanks, man, I appreciate it. I'm like, whenever you want to come down and, come to the studio, come on. Man, the man came the next day. He was like, I was the first person to open my doors to him. And it's hard, being in business, and it's hard to actually reach out to people for help because you're afraid of getting turned down. And, he reached out, and I'm just like, come on. And that's how it sparked right there. Mm-hmm. He came down, and little did he know I was teaching him photography, but he was teaching me stuff too.
Right, because as you teaching you.
He was teaching me how to, be a big brother and enhance my hustle, enhance my grind. Like, when you got people looking up to you, I don't know about you, but for me, when somebody looking up to me, I don't want to fail them.
So you have a responsibility to sharpen your skills, you can pour more into them.
And next thing you know, we just became a power team where we just out here we shooting all over the country.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. That's dope. So right there, so then where did the custom design as far as the shoes and all that, where'd that come to play?
Let's go back to the clothes. 2000, year 2001, in the streets, everybody want to be different. Everybody rocking the J's, they rocking, I think Rockaware was popping at the time, so everybody was in Rockaware. And when you in the hood, everybody want to be a rapper. You say you want to be a rapper or you want to be an athlete. Right. So, I fell in the lines of rapping. So we were going back and forth to Atlanta, and I'm just seeing these cats in Atlanta in their own brand. I'm like, I could do that. So I started my clothing line, Platinum Dreams. But then, went off to college because we wanted to, try to make things better, and it just faded away. Then one day, my homie, Melvin Galloway over in Las Vegas, man, real good friend of mine, he said, you ever thought about putting your art on shirts? I'm like, what art? You're like, your photography, man, it's art. You ever thought about just wearing it? I was like, what? So here it is again. I'm like, my mind is how to build an empire.
Right.
So we went on Craigslist and bought a little heat press and a little printer, and here I go. I'm making up shirts, and before I can get the first shirt off the press, I'm like, I'm selling T-shirts. Starting a business, but. That's how that came about, and then as years went on, getting that and perfecting that, I have a clothing brand. I had a clothing store, and I wanted to tap into selling shoes. So this is where the custom shoes come in play. Watch this. I ordered some Jordan 1s from a vendor from China. Okay. I ordered a full shipment of them. So the price was right, and I'm all about flipping. I'm like, if it's gotta make me money if I'm gonna put my money into it. Right. So I bought the shoes. I think I bought like 12 pairs, something like that. I was excited, wait for them to come in. Soon as they came, the delivery driver was carrying the box so swell that my stomach sank. I'm like, ooh, something ain't right. I'm like, that should be a nice little heavy box, you know. So I picked the box up and I'm holding the box. I'm like, oh my God, how am I gonna explain to my wife that I just blew some money? Because I just knew I got. I'm like, it's either gonna be a box full of styrofoam stuffing,
Right.
or it's gonna be a bunch of booth shoes. Open the box, bunch of Jordan 1s, different colors and all that. They all was fake. So I'm sitting here like, man, I got these fake Jordans. What can I do with these things? I'm like, I can probably take them and give them to the homeless shelter, but I'm like, I got so much money into them, I gotta get some of my money back.
Right.
You know, when you married, you don't ever want to disappoint the wife with finances. You don't ever want to do that.
Drop the jewel again.
That's a scary situation.
And we're gonna come to that, back to that statement too. I want you to finish your story though.
But I'm Googling what to do with fake Jordans.
Say Google it, huh?
So I go to this YouTube link and it's this dude down in Austin, Texas, and he was like, you just customize them, because people will buy custom shoes whether they fake or not. I'm like, what? So he gave me a whole seminar on how there's so many different fake shoes out here and people just buying them because of the brand. So I'm like, all right, let me learn customizer first. Let me see if I can do it. So I go buy some paint from Walmart and stuff like that, get to paint those shoes. I think I'm doing something.
Right.
I'm proud of myself because I accomplished something.
Now, how long ago was this?
I've been doing it a year this month.
You serious?
I'm serious.
Wow, that's deep.
I got this. My wife tells me every single day, y'all. She breathes so much life into my lungs. She says, baby, there's nothing in this world that you can't do if you don't put your mind to it. She tells me this every single day, and I be like rolling my eyes like, here she go. But little do she know it is just a saving grace every time she said it.
And that's right there so powerful to have. First off, what he's saying, he didn't say girlfriend, he said wife.
Oh yeah.
He said wife. You know, that's just so powerful to have a life partner that speaks life into you. But we gotta pray. Yeah. The reason why I'm so wild, you're gonna have his social media information. You can go to his page. Once you see these custom shoes, you're gonna be like, a year? Wow. And we gotta talk about artistry. You can't just do that. You gotta be an artist, but you never mentioned artist at all. Did you draw when you was a kid, or?
Yeah, my mom used to draw. Then, you know, we lived with my aunt at one point, and my cousin, who lives in Cincinnati now, he was an artist. He was a pure artist. Like, he could have really went somewhere with it. And I used to admire that. So I used to take his drawings and I used to trace them and then act like I drew it. So then one day my mom caught me and she was like, no, don't be like somebody else. Be like yourself.
Right.
She was like, I know you got it in you. You just got to figure it out. So I'm taking these art classes in school and I'm just dibbling and dabbling. Then I won an art contest with turning my hand into a turkey. Wow. Teacher was happy about it. So I never really loved art until I started getting into the graphic design of things, and that's when I realized that's for me. So, you know, my brain is like overflowing with ideas constantly.
And I want y'all to catch this, because something he really everything came back full circle. So he only been on the custom design for a year, but he actually, the artistry actually from his mom to his cousin, it was just been around him. Then he actually put some time into it. So the gift just really got reignited, you know, and then from there, in a year's time, I think the power, once again, and we use this word purpose, the power of purpose. Yeah. He's operating this gift, it's purpose. That's why everything needs to be to go like that. And when you see this work, we're gonna put some images up, you're gonna be like, wow. You know, when you see when I pull up the Goalgetta shoes, the Goalgetta, I'm excited, yes! I got the shoe, I told him just to do him. I just wanted to do him because I wanted him to be creative in this. You notice he's using that word creative. I wanted him to be creative, just seeing the things he done, and I was like, wow. Like, the true test, you know, kids, unfortunately, they're like brutally honest. You know, kids just don't got no filter. So the kids, the Goalgetta Academy kids, like, them hard, man. Them like, then I'm walking around, people like, yeah, them nice, who's shoes? I'm like, they're mine, the Goalgetta. It's like, oh yeah? So definitely want to thank you just for your creativity.
I appreciate it.
You know, your creativity, man. That's in a year, that is crazy. So we got the artistry, we got the brand. Now, I want to talk about marriage.
Oh, Lord.
I want to talk about that. And you're looking at two brothers that's definitely changed the narrative. Yes, we are marrying our queens. You know, we changed the narrative in the community. So let's talk about marriage. So your wife, you know, how long you been married?
I've been married for 19 years.
Woo! 19 years. Yeah. Oh, so you're OG in the game. So anytime that someone's been, I get around somebody that's been married longer than me, you know. So married 19. So how long y'all been together?
21.
Oh, so you did that 2 years. Woo, it took me close to 9. We've been together 16. Been married 7. 1 10 years. So, so how old you got married?
22.
Ooh, you got married young.
Yeah.
That's deep. So let's talk about that. So what made you 2 years? So what happened that made you say, you know what, she's the one?
I knew day one.
You knew day one?
I knew day one. It's weird. Being from the streets where I was from,
right?
You know, women came a dime a dozen. You know, they was everywhere. You know?
Right.
It wasn't. You had to work hard for it. You know, I met her through a friend, and it was supposed to be one of those quick hookup type ordeals.
Right.
But she was like, "I ain't that kind of girl." I'm like, "You telling me no?" And she was like, "Yeah." That was the first time a girl has ever told me no, and it stuck with me. And I'm like, okay, I'm interested. I got to get to know her just a little bit better.
Right.
And you know, we got to know each other. Grew up a little bit, and I just was like, you know what? My dad married young. You know, that's the example that I did have. So I was like, you know what? I can't see her with nobody else.
Right.
You know, I honestly, I never shared this with nobody, but a part of me married her out of being selfish. Because I couldn't imagine her being with nobody else. She had to be with me. She had to be mine. So the only way to really lock something like that in is to go ahead and put that ring on it.
Put that ring on it.
And that's what happened. So.
Ooh, that's powerful. That's powerful.
Yeah.
So what does it take for a marriage to last? They say the average marriage doesn't make it 5 years. You are 19.
First, you got to believe, and you got to believe in each other. You got to have a prayer life. If you don't have a prayer, man, I can't express this enough. Like, you got to really have a prayer life. I don't care if you praying to God, Allah, Buddha, whatever your faith is, you got to go to it together, because that's the only way it works. Me and my wife, God is the centerpiece of our foundation. So we pray together, we pray for each other. And she was a praying woman way before I even got to praying. Man, we was in college, and you know, she would. I would be laying there in the bed, and I can hear her praying over me while I was laying there in the bed. She thought I was asleep, but I can hear her praying and petitioning to God to just mold me, not change me, not transform me, but mold me into what He wanted me to be. And I mean, how could you not want that in your life?
That's powerful, man. That's powerful. So you hear definitely that God is definitely the foundation as far as the glue, you know. And I think what you're saying, you know, actually this where we're at right now is the Faith Place, First Apostolic Faith Church. Shout out to my guy Bishop Hampton, you know. Shout out to Tracy Higginbottom, you know, that they definitely so during the pandemic, a lot of adjustments, things changed, you know. So I actually already just running my mentoring program out of this church, Goalgetta Academy, but I ran my podcast at the downtown library. You know, the pandemic, everything shut down. So Tracy and they were like, you know what, I got a room, you can do the podcast here.
Oh, that's nice.
You know, so I say that to say this, you know, when you're operating in your purpose, you know, your gift and the energy you put out, it comes back to you. People are more willing to help you when you help yourself. You know, so you got to start off with you believing in yourself and putting in the work and being consistent. And people are going to notice that. Just what he said earlier. He actually met my guy, Mike Mills, on Facebook. But he's seen Mike Mills respected the work, respected the craft. And then a closed mouth, you know, don't get fed. So Mike Mills humbled himself and said, you know what? I want to connect with this guy. And they connected. And that relationship led to even what you see in the day. Because without him, I'm meeting Mike Mills, I don't meet him. And I'm telling you right now, and I'm telling you right now, you know I'm big on changing the world. Me and Fletch, and we gonna change the world. You know, and in his own right, he's definitely changing lives. You know, so I definitely want to thank you for coming on the Goalgetta podcast with Jay Black. Before you leave, I gotta ask you this: give the people some principles that you live by.
One is self-evaluation. I think people don't respect that word and the meaning, so they don't do it. But in self-evaluation, you have to understand that you're toxic. You're toxic if you're not willing to help yourself so that you can help somebody else. A lot of times in life, we become very selfish. We don't want to share jewels. We don't want to help lift our brother up. But how do we expect the world to change if we're not willing to change ourselves? So in the self-evaluation process, what it is you just weighing the pros versus the cons. Like, what am I doing that's not getting me to where I want to go? And I need to eliminate that. I gave it time to give birth, but it's had some of these ideas that had a miscarriage. So therefore, I had to get it taken about my system so that I can move on to the next thing. And then the next thing is, you gotta be positive. I just shared a post on my way here why I simply was telling people to shut up. Why am I telling people to shut up? It's because you're talking too much. You're giving off too much information. Everybody's not supposed to know your next move. What we're doing is we're giving off so much of our ideas and energy that our haters are able to write the next few chapters of our life for us. We got to change that narrative. There's an old saying that says, "Real G's move in silence," and I'm going back to that stage because I noticed that the more I share with people what I want to do, the more I realize that people are taking my ideas and they're trying to run with it, and that can become very damaging. And when you're dealing with hurt, that's when you become more toxic. So self-evaluation and just changing that toxic level in your life. It's okay to admit when you're toxic. It really is. I know that on social media, a lot of women say, "Oh, he's toxic," and a lot of men say, "Oh, she's toxic," and they make it seem like you want to stay away from it. No, embrace it. Because if you don't embrace it, you can't change it.
Very, very powerful. And it's a part of, when I break down Goalgetta, adversity is a part of the journey to success. So we embrace it. We never give up. Success is the only option. So when the mindset is success is the only option, all it is adapt, conquer. But it's hard for you to adapt to anything if you're not being honest about what he's talking about far as issues. It's okay to be toxic. It's okay to have issues, to have problems. Nothing's perfect. But you got to address it. You got to embrace it. That way you can change. They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So you got to learn to live outside your comfort zone because that's where greatness resides, outside your comfort zone. You heard it earlier. He really didn't do, it was a blessing in disguise. He got some fake Jordans, but that led to him doing custom. And now he's doing football teams. He's doing so many different things, putting smiles on people's faces, because he had adversity, a big adversity. He pressed Google. Shout out to YouTube University.
Right.
He was there. And then from there, what happened? He learned customization. And from there, now he's actually added another, you could say, part of his brand to what he's doing. Empire, building empire. So I appreciate y'all tuning into the Goalgetta podcast with Jay Black. Make sure he's going to tell you his social media information. Tap in with this guy, connect with this guy. He's definitely doing big things, and he's definitely adding value to the world. So get the people your social media information.
You can check me out on Instagram at FGB the brand, and then on Facebook you can check out FGB Custom Shoes and Apparel.
Great. So I appreciate y'all tuning into the Goalgetta podcast with Jay Black. If you can think it, you can achieve it, but you have to believe. So I love and believe in you, and always remember, only person that can stop you is you. Yes. I feel those 3 words coming. I'm excited. Yeah, you're a goal-getter, and I want you to wear who you are. Visit the website below and grab you some Goalgetta apparel. We got the hoodies, we got the Goalgetta joggers, we got the Goalgetta beanie hats, and much more.
It's the Goalgetta Podcast with Jay Black. Stay excited and stay connected. www.jblackinspires.com.